So that is, Foursquare was an interesting Web 2 application. Recently, we hear lots of comparisons between Web 2 and Web 3, and there are different groups and opinions about Web 3. How do you define Web 3, and in what ways it can be better and actually augment Web 2?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of ways to describe it. Like, I think I've listened to a lot of Chris Dixon's
Yeah.
podcast, and I'm a big fan of a lot of stuff that he writes about. And generally it's like, Web 1 is open and Web 2 is closed and Web 3 is going back to open. And the superpower you get in Web 3 is ownership. And like when you asked me about Foursquare, like what would be different with Foursquare? Like, yeah, maybe you would own all of your check-ins, right? Maybe it's your call to monetize them or not, for us to be able to run advertising. So maybe you take that check-in profile and you go onto a different service and you decide how much you want that service to know about you. Like maybe that's what it looks like. This ownership of the data and the ability to monetize the data for your own personal gain, not for Foursquare's gain. Like, I think that's kind of where it's going. I haven't seen, like, I love the romantic idea of that. I haven't seen a lot of that yet. Like, I've seen the projects where people are trying to reproduce Instagram, but on chain, and reproduce Twitter, but do it on chain. And it's like, okay, I get it. I see what you're doing here. And where's the part where I get a check for $1,000 a month for all my tweets? Like, we're not there yet. If someone solves that, then it's like, okay, that's really interesting, right? Because then you kind of come back to the fundamental thing of Web3, where it's like, hey, I'm doing the work, I'm creating the content. Like, why is Twitter getting paid? Why aren't I getting paid? And I think that's what Web3 is supposed to solve. I'm very interested in to see how, and I think it probably will dance around solving that, maybe get to solving it sooner rather than later. I'm interested to see how that manifests itself.